Okay, so I'll keep this quick because I'm not making this video myself today. Basically, my good friend Sam, he's my hairdresser and he's been a good friend of mine for years and years. He was a good mate growing up. He made a video, he has an Instagram page where he talks about mental health, and I want to say shout out to Sam. Every single one of his links will be in the description to everything he's got. He has helped me see the light when it's been really difficult for me to get through difficult times. He made a video basically talking about how to cope with anxiety. I watched it and I was like, this is absolute genius. I wrote them all down in this little notebook as well. But I said to myself, instead of me reciting everything that he said, I'm just going to show you Sam's video. Please go send him some love, go send him some support because he honestly deserves it. He's a great friend and he's helped me a lot. So yeah, I'll see you all in tomorrow's video, but enjoy.
Right, so I'm just making this video really quick just for anyone who's popped up recently asking about ways that they can alleviate their anxiety or depression. There's a lot going on right now. Mine, the past month has been crazy. As being someone who suffers with health anxiety, so it hasn't been great, but I'm getting myself out of it. What I have written down is my 6 go-tos. These are 6 things I do religiously every day, and I find that it just really helps my anxiety. It lifts my mood, makes me feel like a better person, makes me feel stronger. So yeah, I'm just going to get straight into it. So the first one is just gratitude and mindfulness. Now this is something I just used to think was something that people said all the time, and I never really listened to it, but it leads me on quite nicely to talk about a gratitude journal, which I've written in the back of this. So I've found it really useful because someone like myself who has anxiety, or people who have depression or different mental health problems, we tend to ruminate. I like to call it spiderweb thinking. We tend to think about one thought and then it will spring off into 2 thoughts, and then you sat there for about half an hour working yourself up about things that shouldn't even be worrying you. So the actual way this works is the act of getting pen to paper, and I really recommend using a book rather than your phone, because screen time is another thing I'm going to talk about. But just by putting your pen to your paper and getting your thoughts out of your head and writing them down, sort of dies down how serious you've been making them out to be in your head. Do you know what I mean? It calms everything down, and you just feel better. It's almost like you're dumping all your thoughts out and you can see it, and it just makes them less scary. So that's one thing I really advise doing, is get a gratitude journal. The second thing is something that I've recently started doing, probably for about the past half a year, and it's easily one of my favourite things to do. It took some getting used to, and it might not be for everyone, but cold water therapy. By this I mean cold showers, cold baths. I'm not saying you just have to have cold showers and cold baths, because everybody loves a hot steamy shower and they're just as good, but cold water, especially if you're anxious or stressed. The way this works is by putting yourself into a position of being uncomfortable. You're adapting more to stress. You're willingly going into that shower, running that cold bath and getting into it, and learning to live with being uncomfortable, because life isn't just comfort all the way through. Sometimes it does just get a bit rough. I'm not saying get straight into a cold shower. You can have a normal shower, do everything you'd normally do, and then right at the end, even if it's for about a minute, turn it down to about as cold as you can bear it, and I promise you'll feel better after it. If any of you do try this, please message me after how you feel, because the feeling that I got after it, especially a cold bath, is crazy. So that's the second tip. Number 3, probably the most important in my book, is exercise. About 2 years ago, I just used to go down the boozer with my mates, drink, go get a kebab, come back home, watch Friends and fall asleep pissed and wake up with 10 times worse anxiety. Didn't exercise. The thing with exercise is it releases endorphins. We all know about this. Running, lifting weights, anything that you can do, walking the dog, getting outside, getting into sunlight, getting vitamin D. Exercise is the #1 thing you can do for your body and your brain. So that's the third thing I'd say, is just I can't hold that in a higher regard, is exercise. The fourth thing is probably the reason why a lot of people are suffering with their mental health at the minute, is routine. So by this I mean morning routine and a nighttime routine. We have something called a circadian rhythm. I think I pronounced that right. this is like our wake and sleep cycle. So if you can get yourself to bed or in bed by 10 o'clock and wake up by between 7 and 8, if you know what I mean, you're improving your circadian rhythm. Also, your sleep hygiene is important, and by that I don't mean like, well, obviously change your bedding and everything, but like your hygiene is like having screens in your room, going on your phone before bed, which is something I still do most nights, and I do find it affects my sleep. If I find I put my phone down about half an hour before I go to bed, I do tend to sleep better. So yeah, that's the fourth one. The fifth one is really important as well, and this is diet. By this, I like to use an acronym called CATS. So I avoid caffeine, alcohol, tobacco and sugar. Something I just used to binge on all the time. I'm not saying become a monk and don't ever drink, don't ever have a coffee, but if you're like me and you're susceptible to being anxious and you have panic attacks and stuff, you'll really see a difference if you stop, or like if you even lower your caffeine intake, or if you stop smoking as much or stop having as much sugar. You'll notice it improves your mood. So that's one. And the last one, which I mentioned before, is reducing your screen time. We live in like a really stimulated world, do you know what I mean? And especially with the coronavirus thing going on at the minute, all that you see is bad news. It's all people dying and everything, and as sad as it is, that has an impact on your mood without you even realising it. So I'd say just take times out of the day where you go outside, or you go to the shop, or you go for a walk without your phone. You put it on charge and go for a walk for an hour. Put it down, tie it in with your good bedtime routine. Try not to be on your phone watching videos of fucking cats till stupid o'clock in the morning like I've done sometimes. But yeah, those are my 6 most important things that really helped me. I hope that you could use them in some way to help you as well. And yeah, stay well, stay happy.